and Rose Democrats. And a very happy Labor Day to all of us. It is an honor, an absolute honor to introduce our guest speaker, Miss Randi Weingarten. You may have seen her on MSNBC, on CNN, or Meet the Press, or maybe you've read some articles about her in the Washington Post, the New York Times, the New York Observer, and any number of forms of media. But let me introduce her formally by giving you a little bit of background information about her. Randi Weingarten is the president of the American Federation of Teachers, AFL-CIO, a union of 1.7 million teachers, paraprofessionals, school-related personnel, higher education, faculty and staff, nurses and other healthcare professionals, local, state, and federal government employees, and early childhood educators. Prior to her election as president of the AFT in 2008, Randi Weingarten served for 11 years as the president of the United Federation of Teachers in New York City. She taught history at Clara Barton High School in Brooklyn's Crown Heights neighborhood from 1991 to 1997. She holds degrees from Cornell University School of Industrial and Labor Relations and Cardozo School of Law, and she worked as a Wall Street law firm from 1983 to 1986. She's an active member of the Democratic National Committee, and she works with several or numerous professional, civic, religious, and philanthropic organizations. She is the people's warrior. She is bold. She is fearless. She is brilliant, persistent, insistent, intrepid. She's courageous. She's shrewd. And you do not want to find yourself on the wrong side of an issue that she supports. Randi Weingarten sometimes could be just buck wild, as we would say. As a matter of fact, I just got to tell you this one thing. This is what I heard. I don't know if it's true. I'm going to say allegedly. When Ron DeSantis heard that she was on her way to Florida again, he went into hiding. So please give a really warm welcome to my national president and the friend of all workers, Randi Weingarten.
Oh my God, when you get an introduction like that, you stop. Or you get the harmonica. That was amazing. So, I don't know. Blues, a great labor song, a harmonica, a senator playing. Why wouldn't anybody want to come to Hampton Roads to a Labor Day celebration? So, my city, New York City, we do our Labor Day celebration the week after Labor Day. Why? So that we could be in all sorts of other places on Labor Day. And as I was saying to a couple of people, often I'm in Pennsylvania, either in Pittsburgh or in Philly. And I'm so glad to be here today and not there for the following reason. There's a muscle there's a muscle in Norfolk, there's a muscle in Hampton Roads, there's a muscle about labor here. You see this in that room. But as a state, Pennsylvania is known as a labor state. New York is known as a labor state. This room is creating Virginia as a labor state. And why? And why in terms of, and I have lots of great notes, but obviously I'm not using them. Why? You've seen it in the last few years. Senator Kaine, I'm sorry, the chairman. I'm always going to call him the chairman because he is the chairman. Chairman Scott. Chairman Scott was the head of and is now the ranking member of the Labor and Education Committee in the House of Representatives. That is the muscle committee. That is the committee of soul. That is the committee of builders. What do I mean by that? You think about the three ways that regular working folk have power in any country. Sorry, I am a social studies teacher. The three ways: knowledge, education, not memorization, but knowledge. I'll get back to that in a second. Same, labor, the power to actually have agency on the job, like Senator Kaine talked about his dad. The power to have something in your pocket after you pay housing costs to have a better life for yourselves and your families. I don't care how great most employers are. It takes a union to actually make that happen for working folks. It takes a union. Do you think UPS would have given the Teamsters that kind of contract without that strike vote? Do you think that the writers and the actors, when was the last time the writers and the actors were on strike, by the way? Ronald Reagan was president of the Actors Guild. But why are they on strike? Because their wages are going down. You all think that actors and writers get a lot of money. Their wages are going down. They're like gig workers these days, like Uber drivers and Lyft drivers. And they see the need to be on strike, a righteous strike, 100+ days. And what's the third way? The third way is voting. The third way is voting. Because I don't care if it's DeSantis with a scowl, Trump with a screech, or Youngkin with a smile and a fleece jacket. If you think about their policies are all the same. Undermine freedom, undermine democracy, undermine knowledge for all, and undermine the muscle to be able to have the agency to fight for a better life for yourselves and your families. That's what all three of them do. So the question for us right now, and that's part of why I'm here, is what's the stakes? And I watched a couple of years ago how I got smeared. Why? Because we fight against book banning. We fight to teach honest history. We fight for knowledge for all. How is it, and you see it in terms of what Youngkin is doing, the trifecta here, which is go after divisive concepts, denounce equity, and trans kids. Really? Trans kids are the biggest threat to the nation? Really? I say this as the first out gay leader of a union. No, it's not for clapping, it's for the level of pain I feel. Understanding growing up hidden. For trans kids right now, don't they have enough pain that we would create that much more? Think about the level, the disconnection that all of this is. So, look, I could go on and on. But we know who they are. Whether they have a smile or a fleece, or a scorn or a scowl. And what we have to do is we have to have the courage of our convictions. And that courage of our convictions means this. Okay, when they ban books, we give them out. We make sure people have diverse titles, kids have, families have, so they can revel in the books that they have. And that's what our union has done. We've given out 9 million already. And we're about to give out our last million before July 2024. In meetings, in family gatherings, we've had 250 in the last 2 years. And you can just see the happiness of families when you give out books where kids can see themselves. But we don't just do that. We've said that if somebody teaches honest history, the good and the bad, because how do you learn? Actually, it's pretty patriotic to learn the bad of the history of the United States, because then you see that dreams like we had, the 60th anniversary of the march last week, dreams can be fulfilled, but dreams take struggle. So how do you not teach the good and bad? How do you not create critical thinking? So what we're doing, no wonder they go after me, is we've said to our members, whether they have collective bargaining or not, that if they teach honest history, we're going to defend every single one of them with a legal defense fund that we have, creating courage. But, and this is the last thing I want to say, it's not just about the fight back. It's about the fight forward. And in every classroom in America, teachers, and I often take this, this is our new poster that says what the AFT does for our members and for communities. But my point in showing this one is this. This little piece up here is a poster that an art teacher gave me when I was the president of the Teachers Union in New York City years and years ago. It was a poster that he did, and I have it in every office that I have. And it says, I inspire, I encourage, I empower, I nurture, I activate, I motivate, I change the world, I am a teacher. That's who teachers are all the time. But we have to help them. Yes, that is who teachers are. That is who paraprofessionals are. But we have to help them. In this period of time, and you know, Senator Kaine and his wife have been amazing about this. They have been leaders in this work, as has the chairman in so much other work in terms of education. But there are real issues in education right now. Yes, we have to deal with gun violence. Yes, we have to deal with poverty. Yes, we have to deal with a whole lot of long-term issues. But there's short-term issues too. COVID created a lot of disconnection. Devices make it worse, and the social media companies make it worse. There's a lot of loneliness. There is learning loss. So, my union, what was what we're doing? You see the shirts saying real solutions for kids and communities? We're doing a multi-million-dollar plan starting this summer to address loneliness, to address learning loss, to address literacy. Because can you imagine, as they smear us, what we're doing is proposing solutions. As they smear us, we're creating strategies that help kids learn to read and love to read. As they smear us, we're creating strategies that take, given the world that we're in, the new Biden economy, 13 million jobs, what if we actually made sure that there were pathways in high schools to these jobs of today and tomorrow, as well as pathways to college? What if we started all of that stuff in high school? That is what Senator Kaine has been talking about for years. Why don't we make that available to all of our students? Why don't we wrap services around all of our schools so that we're actually really dealing with mental health issues and with loneliness? And why don't we together take on the social media companies and stop them from making our kids feel bad about themselves? They can change these algorithms in a minute. So, your current governor and others try to smear. We provide solutions. And you can't tell me that fighting loneliness, fighting illiteracy, and fighting learning loss is extreme. That is what people want, and that is what we need to do. So, last thing. I'm talking to the converted. There's no one in this room. You may not have known about this campaign that we're waging. You may not have known that we've given out 9 million books. You may not have known that I taught in a CTE school, AP history, by the way, in a CTE school. You may not have known any of that. But you do know how to engage people to get out and vote. But this is the last thing I'm going to say, which so many others have said as well. This is a period like no other. Labor is ascendant. Young people want labor unions. People don't like book banning. They want their kids to learn. But there's so much division and so much disinformation. Yes, of course elections matter, but they're not going to matter if we don't actually get and talk to people. And that's the other reason I'm here. We got to talk to each other. We got to talk to our neighbors. We got to talk to our communities. We got to knock on doors. We got to have the courage of our convictions. We got to look eye to eye. We have to talk about what the stakes are. Virginia can move forward, but that means you got to win the Senate and the House of Delegates. That means we can't let the guy with the smile and the fleece pretend that he's on the side of working people. Pretend he's on the side of all of you. But that means all of us in it together. This is a race between hope and fear, between aspiration and despair. We're on the solution side. They're on the smearing side. We will win if we talk to people. We will win if we give people hope. We will win our democracy back if people vote. But we got to get them out to vote. Thank you very much.